Hello everyone, Kevin the Switch Hippie here with another exciting episode of Rescued from the Bargain Bin here at Groovy Old Records. And I was tooling around today. I had no intention of stopping by, but as we know, it happens. So I stopped by our local thrift store here in Greeley and I got a couple of records. I'll share them with you. Tell me what you think. Some of them's pretty cool, so tell me what you think. This first one is KBPI. This is a Colorado, that's a radio station, right? KBPI. So these are local, this is from 1976, so these are local Colorado musicians from 1976 on KBPI. It's a local radio station in Denver. I think they play heavy metal now, so I don't know this doesn't look like a heavy metal record, so I'll have to see what it sounds like. I'm assuming it's going to be 1976 kind of rock music, so we'll have to listen to that. This next one, oh my gosh, this is so disappointing. This is Herbie Mann. I love Herbie Mann. If you're not familiar with Herbie Mann, he plays jazz flute. He is a flautist. And he's absolutely brilliant. I've got his earlier records, and they're absolutely wonderful. This is called Superman. This is a disco record. And as good as Herbie Mann is, he cannot rescue this from being terrible. I'm sorry, it's the disco production values, the beat, and the strings, and it's just cheesy and horrible. And I know it's popular at the time, and I know when artists sometimes they reach out, right? They reach into new music genres to try to capture new audiences. I don't think it was successful on this record. I'm sorry, Herbie. I love you, brother, man, but I didn't like this record at all. So we're gonna put down. I got a feeling that's gonna go back in the bargain bin, right? This next one. First of all, the cover's horrible, right? This is the juiciest fruit gum. This is the greatest hits package for the 1910 Fruit Gum Company. And I put down When We Get Married down. You know, it's just pop, right? It's a bubblegum-ish pop. I put down When We Get Married. I thought there's a little Beach Boys going on in there, I thought it was worthwhile. Like I said, this is not, the world is not waiting for a 1910 Fruit Gum Company reunion, but I did think that song When We Get Married is pretty good. So anyway, it's kind of got a Beach Boys feel to it, so let me know what you think. And this next one, this is Ray Charles. This is obviously a low budget, from Scepter Records, a low budget reissue of other songs that his. Now it says greatest hits. There's no hits here, right? It's a nice record. Don't get me wrong. It's old blues piano, but it's not Hit the Road Jack's not on here or any of that, right? This is his earlier bluesy, piano-y stuff. So it's really good, though. I enjoyed it. The sound quality, maybe not. We'll take. Tell me what you think. I put a couple down there. This one is, This one is Baron von Tollbooth and the Chrome Nun by Paul Cantor, Grace Slick, and David Freiberg. And of course, the cover is horrible, I think. I think the cover is absolutely horrible. And I think the name of the record's horrible. But it's a good record, though. And the people playing on it here are ridiculous. It's got Chris Etheridge, Jerry Garcia's on here, David Crosby, Jack Cassidy, the Pointer Sister, Papa John Creech, Mickey Hart, Jorma Kaukonen, and Jerry Garcia. He plays guitar on this record. So the record itself is pretty good. I enjoy the record, but it's kind of, maybe it's a little 70s, maybe pretentious 70s, marketing. Like, let's call it let's call this the Baron von Tollbooth, right? And the Chrome Nun. So, okay. Anyways, the next one. This is the Flying Burrito Brothers, right? Oh my gosh. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first album after Graham Parsons left. So, the Flying Burrito Brothers was originally Graham Parsons and Chris Hillman and Gene Clark from the Byrds, right? And Sneaky Pete Kleinlow played slide, the steel guitar on it. And they put out 2 albums. The first one, the Gilded Palace of Sin, right? It's probably one of the best records ever made. So this one is a little bit later. It's not as good, but Chris Hillman is still on here, and Gene Clark, Bernie Leadon, like I said, Sneaky Pete Kleinlow, and Rick Roberts. He took over for the vocals from Graham Parsons. So, anyways, it's a good record. I put on here To Ramona, the Bob Dylan song, which is a good Bob Dylan song, and I like their version. So, there we go. Flying Burrito Brothers. This next one is Small Faces, 78 in the Shade. So this is a later version of the Small Faces. This is kind of, it's got Steve Marriott's in it, Ian McLagan, and Kenny Jones, right? They were the original original faces. And you know, everybody else is gone. There's no Rod Stewart in here, and there's no Ronnie Lane. This is not the faces of Ichigo Park or anything like that. But it's a pretty good record. Like I said, it's the later '70s. I think Steve Marriott, he had some addiction problems that he was trying to work through, and they were trying to get it together again. And this is kind of the product. It's a good record. It's a good record. Small piece if you're interested. This next one, this one's crazy. I don't know if you've ever heard of this one. This is Voodoo Suite, and it's Perez Prado and Shorty Rogers. I've heard of Shorty Rogers, and I'm familiar with the name Perez Prado, but I never actually heard any of his music. This record is crazy good. This side, Voodoo Suite, it's 20 minutes, and it's kind of a tone poem. It's interesting to listen to. It's got Cuban music and crazy people yelling. What else are you looking for in a record, right? You got the Cuban rhythms and people are yelling stuff in Spanish. I don't know what they're saying, but it's a greght record. I like this. I listened to side one. I haven't listened to side two yet. Side one, Voodoo Suite, Perez Prado and Shorty Rogers. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth check out. This next one is Elevator by the Rollers, right? Elevator. First of all, I don't understand the cover, right? I think the Rollers were. This is the first record after they used to be called the Bay City Rollers, right? Everybody remembers the Bay City Rollers, SATURDAY, and they did that bubblegum thing in the mid '70s, right? Well, the lead singer left, and they decided to do something with this recording contract as opposed to making bubblegum records. So they renamed themselves the Rollers. And this is the first of their Rollers albums, and I am going to say this: I don't like bubblegum music. I don't like the 1910 Fruit Company, as I just said to you. But this is a good album, and it's got it's kind of power pop. It sounds to me like there's Knack in here. I hear Squeeze. I hear Sweet. The later Sweet records, like Level Head and all that. That's what I hear on this record, and it's pretty good, and it's interesting to listen to. It's certainly not what you would expect from the Bay City Rollers, right? This is different, grown-up Rollers, and I think it's worth a listen. I think, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, this album actually it got critical acclaim, but nobody bought it, right? That's what's happened. So, anyways, the last record I got for you today, I thought this was hysterical. I just thought this was hysterical. When I saw it, I had to pick it up. There was just no ifs, ands, or buts. I had to get it. This is Lancelot Link and the Evolution Revolution. I don't know if you're familiar with Lance Link, but there's monkeys here because it was a TV show, a kids TV show in the 70s. I remember it. And the monkeys were acted out. Lance Link was a secret agent, and he worked for Ape. Can you see Ape there? He worked for Ape. That is the Agency to Prevent Evil. And of course, he had a side gig too. He was a rock star. Anyways, but just a hysterical, stupid thing. And the monkeys would do stuff, and then they have voices over them, and you can see there's all sorts of crazy stuff here on the cover, right? The record sounds good, and actually, this is not a bad record. I mean, musically speaking, right? It's just kind of what I would say maybe a generic pop album from the 60s or late 60s, early 70s. It's just kind of a generic pop record, right? The difficulty, though, of course, is that, even they're not playing it, right? We talk about the Monkees. That's the same thing, right? Monkeys didn't play these monkeys didn't play their own instruments either. So it's kind of, I don't know who the band is who actually made the music. Like the Archies, right? I don't know who these guys are, but it's not. I mean, I wouldn't buy this record normally if it was by whoever, but it's just a standard generic late 60s, early 70s pop record that just happens to have Lance Link and the Monkees on it. I put a cut below. Tell me what you think, and if that's all right. That's all right. It's not horrible, right? It's not a death penalty. So, anyways, this is Kevin the Switch Hippie. That's all I got for you today. So we will be seeing you guys again real soon. And until then, see you later. Bye. Oh, the dang thing broke again.